connection and stuff, so I have to be patient on some stuff, which kind of sucks. But right now, I'm very excited to be doing another basketball talking video about the top 10 wealthiest franchises. I don't even know what to really even call it. Let's see. It's an article on here that basically ranks the most valuable franchises in the NBA. We are going to be listing off the top 10. Now, this is obviously not what franchises I think that are better, where franchises are doing better, where franchises are this or that or this or that. It's just based off of what the franchise is worth. So, you could probably think, there's some really amazing teams in the league that aren't as valuable, or there are some very bad teams that are skyrocketing through the roof in value. So, we're going to go through that list to talk about the teams, the players, how they get there, or how they got there, and yeah. Also, tomorrow, I kind of have an idea of what I want to do. Would you guys be down for a pack opening tomorrow? I haven't played my team in forever, and I'm thinking about throwing some cash to 2K and doing a little pack opening. So, if this video gets like 100 likes, I'll do a pack opening for you guys in my next video. So yeah, if you guys want a pack opening, let me know. Get this video up, some likes, comment if you want to do it, subscribe, everything like that, and I'll do a pack opening for you guys tomorrow, because I have not touched my team in forever, so I think it'd be kind of fun. So let's get on to the video. Alright, so now we are here with the top 10 most valuable franchises in the NBA, and these are the top 10 as of right now. I think this article was written up in March, I think, sometime during the spring or summer, so it's very recent. So, at number 10, we have here the Toronto Raptors at number 10. Can you guess how much they're valued? It's a big number, but in a big numbers term, it's actually not that as big as I thought it would be, but it is $2.1 billion. So, if you have $2.1 billion lying around somewhere, you can buy yourself the Toronto Raptors. Yeah, obviously Toronto being the only NBA team in Canada, I assume they'd probably be the wealthiest ones. I'm assuming that Canada would like to keep that team around. The popularity of basketball in Canada has always been skyrocketing. We've had a lot of very good players come in from Canada, and it's good to probably have that representation. And obviously now, being NBA champions, I'm sure it's put them more of a staple. They put them on the map. So I'm assuming, whoever owns the Raptors, I don't even know who it is. If it's one guy or business owners, like a lot of other teams, I assume they want to keep that team there, and they probably put and invest a lot of money into that team. So I can see that happening. They always have really cool courts. The arena seems nice. Really good players, obviously, with DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry for a while, and then obviously getting Kawhi, the championship, and now having Pascal Siakam, and that sort of retooling team. I don't want to say rebuilding, but retooling team are still really good. And obviously, yes, the jerseys are sick. The Heat, Lakers, some of the top jerseys in the NBA, they look super sick. So I can see Toronto here being number 10. It says before the season started, they also signed a new $640 million naming rights deal to their arena. The Toronto market isn't the biggest basketball market, but it's one of the largest metro areas in Canada. Again, obviously, that's why it's probably worth so much. And with the increasing popularity of basketball, the Raptors could be a force up north. Okay, at number 9, can you guess who it is? This one I'm actually pretty surprised. I usually always think about things in Texas. There's a little hint there, being cheaper, but this team is definitely not cheap whatsoever. Dallas has always been good for many years, since probably the 2000s. Since obviously ever since Dirk has been on that team, I feel like they've always been in a good playoff position. And then obviously winning the championship a couple years ago against a very big underdog story probably also helped to push their stock market valuability. And now having maybe the most, or at least one of the most popular players in the league internationally with Luka Doncic. I mean, obviously him and Giannis are probably up there as well. But man, like, that dude is insane, and I can only see the Mavericks getting more valuable. Like, Mark Cuban, I bet, is so happy right now for getting Luka. It says here, outspoken Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban. I think Mark Cuban is the sole owner of the Mavericks, if I'm not mistaken. So he bought the franchise in 2000 for $240 million, and it's now worth $2.4 billion. Man, that's probably the best investment he's ever been in. Mavericks TV ratings have skyrocketed with the arrival of Luka Doncic by 88%. Oh my god, that's what I just said, that Luka is probably just not only just local TV for Dallas Mavericks fans and games, but obviously across the nation with TNT ABC games, but also internationally. I bet Luka is having a big name for himself, and that's definitely super crazy. Honestly, this is definitely a team I could see being like 7th, 6th, maybe top 5 in a couple years if Luka keeps getting crazy. They build that team really well. I can only see that. I love watching Dallas Mavericks games now because of Luka Doncic. No offense to Dirk. I love Dirk. Dirk is one of the best, power forwards of all time. But his game wasn't a super exciting game to watch as probably like a casual fan, but I bet anybody can watch a Dallas Mavericks game now and be very into it and exciting. So I can see why the value of that team will definitely go up. That's awesome. And number 8 is another Texas team. One you can probably guess. It's probably not the one that's on a smaller market team, but it is the Houston Rockets, which I'm actually kind of surprised about. But the Houston Rockets are valued at $2.4 billion, just 2.475. That's why they're worth more. Is that $75 million difference right there? That's kind of funny. It's the most valuable NBA franchise in the state of Texas as of right now. So it could change. Obviously, we'll definitely have to see that. Obviously, with Daryl Morey changing his position now with the 76ers, a lot of James Harden trade talks are in the books. I just saw an article on Bleacher Report that came up on my phone about different trade scenarios for James Harden. I didn't want to do. I was thinking about doing a specific video just on like James Harden trade suggestions because there's a lot of them. But I don't know if I'll do that. But we'll see, because it's looking like every day, maybe not every day, but every couple days, it looks like there's like a new the Rockets are trying to switch something up, and it's very exciting. So can it be the Sixers trading like Joel Embiid or Ben Simmons, one of those guys? Can it be a crazy trade that we see out of nowhere, like I don't know, like a Klay Thompson in the second pick for James Harden, like just something so left field, like who knows? I think that'd be super interesting. But I do feel like in recent history, I think the Rockets should be probably worth more. Obviously, with their team success, I'm not saying with anything else, but I feel like Houston is probably more of a basketball city than any other sports city. Obviously, Dallas has the Cowboys, which is guess in terms, it's just estimating their value. It's not like this is the exact number you have to able to buy them. So that's a pretty good selling price in my opinion. Yeah, it definitely makes sense now. Obviously, if Kevin Durant goes off and everything goes well for them, they make the finals, even win a championship next season, which is obviously very doable. If Kevin Durant didn't, come off his injury very well, Kyrie Irving comes off his surgery, I think he had as well. They have the depth, they have the coach. Well, they have the coaching staff now. I don't want to say they have the coach because it seems like they got a sort of like, hey, we like this guy, let's make him the coach type of coach, kind of like what Ty Lue was for the Cavaliers. Now that obviously worked out, but I think that was also due to the fact that Ty Lue's a very smart player. Obviously, Steve Nash is one of the best point guards of all time, one of the most gifted, just pure point guards we've ever seen. Well, that translates to being a good coach. Who knows? Obviously, point guards are probably the most capable of being coaches. Now, is the first job of Steve Nash going to be very tough? Obviously, yes. But apparently, Steve Nash has been a part of basketball in some way or shape or form for a while. We just didn't know about it. Apparently, he's been like consulting with teams and things like that. So he's been working undercover for teams apparently. And him and Kevin Durant are pretty close. And I'm sure him and Kyrie can probably have a lot in common. But they will always be the little brother team to the New York Knicks, who may or may not be on this list. I guess we'll have to see. Wow. I haven't seen the full list, and this is actually very surprising to me. But the number 6 team is the Los Angeles Clippers. That's actually crazy, because the Clippers historically have not been that great. That's crazy. Obviously, just having the team in LA probably makes it instantly like a $2 billion team, and then just you put in your you have good players and all this and that, and then now it's like a $2.6 billion team. But I'm sure just being in LA makes your value just even way crazier. It says here former CEO of Microsoft Steve Ballmer bought the Clippers in 2014 for a hefty price of $2 billion. Like I just said, that's probably just because they're in California. But over the coming years, we realized it was worth it. Yes, definitely worth it. The Clippers have turned into a competing team almost every season that they are about to branch out of their own for the first time. I don't know, we'll have to see. Palmer is privately funding a brand new 18,500 seat arena in Inglewood, which is the dumbest thing ever. I don't know why they're investing all of this money in the Clippers when I bet you if the Clippers don't make at least the conference finals, or maybe even if they don't make the finals, I think Kawhi and Paul George are leaving, especially if they have another blowout season like that. You're investing all that money on players that don't even really, they're just coming together because they're in LA. Now obviously Inglewood is very close to that, and who knows, maybe Paul George and Kawhi will end their careers there, which would be kind of cool. But I mean, I would understand this new sort of rebranding if they still had Shea and they were getting good draft picks and they were building something, and this is exciting, it's a build-up. But this is sort of weird because Kawhi, I think, has a player option next season, and so does Paul George. And if they both opt out of that, that's just actually sad that he's spending millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars on something that's not even guaranteed. Even a championship isn't even guaranteed, as we saw that last season. So, I mean, all props to him, and I really think that's cool. But that's definitely going to be very interesting to see, especially if they tank. Bro, if they tank, that's going to be very interesting, having that whole arena not being very well used, in my opinion. Number 5, we have the Boston Celtics at number 5. Wow. It's very interesting because you think of a lot of really old teams not being that valuable because they've been around for so long, or this, that, and the other. But the Celtics, man, are one of the oldest teams in the NBA, but yet they're always so relevant, and it's crazy. I mean, you can think of super old teams like Red Sox. Man, Boston is best blessed with great sports teams. It's pretty crazy, but I think Celtics are definitely up there. And obviously, I'm pretty sure probably the lineage of Boston Celtic basketball is what really makes it valuable. They still play in the TD Garden, which is again one of a very historic place for sure for basketball terms. And I mean, you think of the future, you can think of the same thing with Luka Doncic. I mean, Jason Tatum he's a $1 million superstar player. Like, he is just the next big thing, you know. Him and Luka and John Morant and Zion Williamson, I can see them all running the league. And then the next 5-6 years, once, you know, LeBron leaves and KD leaves, sadly, and Curry leaves, I can see them stepping up and being those sort of players the next generation looks up to, you know. So, the team is very talented. I just actually posted a Celtic rebuild last night. If you haven't watched it, it's very dope. Playing with that team, Jaylen Brown, and they still have their good picks, and they ran very, very, very well. Man, if you get drafted to the Celtics, man, that's amazing. But they're still a very good team, and definitely championship aspirations for sure, and they can definitely win one, like a lot of these teams can. It's gonna take a lot, so we're just gonna have to see. But Celtics top 5, that's crazy. Another very crazy top 5. At number 4, we have the Chicago Bulls. I actually didn't think they would make the list when I was thinking about who would make it, but the Bulls are more valuable than the Celtics and the Clippers. That's crazy. It says here, before we get to the Bulls, there is a big drop off over $1 billion from a 3 to 4 on this list. So it looks like the Bulls are sort of like that mid-tier of teams. Like they're valued at $3.2 billion, Celtics $3.1 billion, and then it drops a big gap to the Clippers at 2.6. So they're all very close in value. So like I said, this is all like estimated value for teams. So it's probably, you know, it probably switches around a lot. But it says here the Bulls grew 10% this past year to be valued at $3.2 billion according to Forbes. That's pretty crazy. It says, yeah, the Bulls have definitely been struggling since recently. I think the value is obviously Michael Jordan, the Bulls, Chicago. You know, it's just a very famous place. Now, obviously, team-wise, it's definitely not for that. Like the Clippers, it's different. It's literally the opposite. It's for the lineage of Chicago basketball and everything that comes with that. So, I mean, the Bulls are on the up and up, that's for sure. I really would like to see them, you know, keep Levine, keep Kobe White, keep Laurie, keep Wendell Carter Jr. Me personally, I think they would be very smart to draft Denny. I think Denny is a very good small forward that they can build with that team. Can be, you know, an off-brand Luka Doncic type of player, and I think they can be very well developed, and you can sort of start building your team up from there. Now, I think they're still looking for that home run sort of pitch for a superstar, which I think obviously you can get like a sort of New York, a Brooklyn Nets type of deal where you have a good set of teammates. Again, you have Zach, you can get Denny, Kobe White, Laurie, Wendell Carter. That's 5 very good players. You add some other players in the mix, and then all of a sudden, maybe like in like a couple years when LeBron retires, maybe Anthony Davis is like, hey, I've won X amount of more championships. I want to play for my hometown of Chicago, and let me take, you know, Y player here, and they go to Chicago. Like, that can happen. That can for sure happen. Or even a player who's a big fan of Michael Jordan can go, or even a big fan of Chicago Bulls can go, and you're hoping for that. But I think you need to build a good foundation like the Nets did for that to happen, and I think they're doing that, so they're definitely on the right path. And even if that didn't happen, I can still see that being a very competitive team for a playoff spot in the next coming years, and I think that's all you can really ask for from them right now. But them being valued there for that much, it's literally probably like 90% of it just is because of Michael Jordan and probably worldwide popularity. I mean, besides like the Lakers and maybe the Knicks, I think the Bulls are probably the most popular team worldwide. Maybe even the Houston Rockets, because I know they're pretty big in Asia, but they're definitely up there for that reason. And next up, we $1.6 billion. That is crazy. Suites and the stadium alone cost over $1 million annually. It will be huge in revenue department for Golden State. Wow. Yeah, man. Man, if you were a Golden State Warriors fan in the past 10 years, bro, I feel so bad for you because, man, you could probably get tickets for a Warrior game for like 10, $15 back then, but now, bro, you gotta sit nosebleeds for like $70 now, I bet. I feel so bad for you, even for me as a Portland Trailblazer fan. Even with Blazers' recent success in the past 5 years, I used to get tickets for $7 to watch a Blazer game. Now it's I have to feed in $30 just to go there, and then you always have to pay parking and food and stuff like that. It can get pricey now, so I can't even imagine about a Warrior game, a Laker game. I've been to a Laker game before, but that was back in the day, Kobe Bryant, D'Angelo Russell days. So that was still pretty pricey. So yeah, obviously the Warriors are definitely the team of the decade. Crazy popularity with Steph Curry. He's definitely one of the most popular players in the entire world in any sport. He definitely is now changing the game of basketball with his style of play, his three-point shooting, his character, the way he is, and it's crazy. It's awesome. It's definitely a good player who deserves it. A good guy, and it's insane. The Warriors are definitely going to be a team that's going to always be in title contention for probably the next couple years, especially now if they actually keep their second pick and they do draft a player like Edwards or Ball or Wiseman. It's going to be crazy for them. I honestly think they're going to trade it still for probably, I'm guessing, a center or a small forward, one of the positions that they really need. Is it going to be an Andre Drummond or who else could it be? Bradley Beal, Chris Middleton. It could be a lot of different players, or could it be, like I said, a super left field trade where we don't even see happening, like James Harden, Joel Embiid, just something crazy. It can happen because the Warriors are that good. They can pull that off, and I'm very excited to see that happen. But I blame them for drafting, Wiseman, and all of a sudden, when Steph gets a little bit older, you now have this budding star in Wiseman to build around for years to come, and yet the Warriors are still such a popular team. They live in California. They have a brand new arena. They have amazing coaching staff and player development. You can get players to go there. Obviously, we just saw that with Kevin Durant. So I can see why they're such a high value place to play now. It just amazes me that they grew so fast. Bro, I remember watching them against Denver in the playoffs and be like, oh, this team's really cool. Yeah, that's a cool team. I like that team. And then now they're probably the best team in basketball for, last decade. It's pretty crazy. Well, definitely the past 5 years. Next up, number 2 is the LA Lakers, estimated at $4.4 billion. Yes, the Warriors almost have the Lakers beat in value, which blows my mind that you can almost buy the Lakers for just as much as the Warriors. Blows my mind. Let's see here. Yeah, obviously the Lakers are, again, maybe besides the Knicks. Actually, you know what? They probably are the most popular basketball team in the world. They probably are, especially now with LeBron James. Yeah, I think they're probably the most popular basketball team in the world. The Lakers have always been big box office ballers since, man, they had Jerry West and Wilt Chamberlain. It goes back way back then. So, and they arguably had one of the first NBA stars ever in George Mikan in Minneapolis. So it definitely makes a lot of sense how they're so popular. They're worth so much money, and everyone at one point in time probably wanted to be a Laker, and then you go over to the Magic days and Showtime Lakers and that whole buzz with all the actors, and that also just grew and grew and grew their popularity. And obviously winning is definitely the best thing you can do to up your value. Obviously, we just saw that with Toronto being number 10, just recently winning a championship. Boom, you're top 10 already. That's crazy. also just skyrocket their value and just constantly winning, and just the way they hold everyone accountable in their organization is always really well ran. Even in their bad days, you always felt like, oh, they always get a chance, they always get a chance, they always get a chance, and then boom, they get, this big with Lonzo Ball and this and the other, and pieces start coming together, and then you get LeBron, and then you get Anthony Davis, so it feels like things always start to fall into place for them, and that also shows probably in their value as well. I do think at one point, I think one day they will be the most valuable team in the NBA. If something doesn't happen for team number one, and if you know basketball, you probably know who team number one is, and it's kind of sad, but I think one day they will be probably the most highly valued, especially now coming off a championship. If they have another really good run this year, or even win a championship this year, this next coming season, I think they will be the most valuable team. But at number one, can we get a drum roll, please? It is the New York Knicks at number one. If you're someone who's not very well tuned with basketball or didn't really know about value, yes, the Knicks suck, and they've sucked for a very long time. But that does not mean they don't gain revenue or have very high value. They play in the biggest market money-wise for any sports team ever. It's New York City. That's where the big money is for literally anything. Also, the Knicks, again, worldwide popularity. I mean, everyone, even if you're not a basketball fan or a sports fan, you know who the Knicks are. Like, the Knicks are just, that's what they are. I mean, they're so popular, they don't even go by their full name of their team. They're just the Knicks. You know who they are. It's pretty crazy. So, it says here, despite years of having no basketball success on the court, the Knicks continue to become more and more valuable as one of the most recognizable teams in the league. Yes, as of 2020, the Knicks are valued at $4.6 billion and have seen an increase, which is so surprising. They have seen an increase of 15% in the past year. How does that happen? How does that happen? That makes no sense. Basketball franchises are growing at the fastest rate of any major sports teams, and it doesn't look like they'll be slowing down anytime soon. I think they will be, obviously due to, recent times. I can't say the thing because my video will get shadow banned or whatever. But I think a lot of teams are going to get hit by this. But I feel like the Knicks are always going to be super box offices because they are just the Knicks. And God, as soon as they made Jeremy Lin a superstar, like that's how much power the Knicks have in basketball. Like they made Jeremy Lin like almost like a max contract type of player, and that's very powerful. I really hope they do well in this draft. I'm crossing my fingers. I hope you guys get your man. I hope you guys get, a Ball or a Wiseman, or maybe you find a diamond in the rough type player, and that'd be great. I just beg, I literally beg so much to build a team first. Please don't just wait. Please don't just wait for a superstar to save you. That's been your philosophy for years, and it sucks. Please, I beg, just build a team first, and they will come. Just like the Nets, just like all teams, build a team. Like even the Lakers, build a team first, and it will happen. You can't just bet every year and suck every year that, we'll just get this guy, and boom, we're ready, we're set. That doesn't happen, especially when you're the Knicks, when their owner, I don't think it said anything about him in there, but that's also a reason why no one wants to touch the Knicks. And maybe at one point in time, if he's gone, maybe it'll help out with the popularity of the Knicks. I'm not sure about their coaching situation or what they are in player development or player relations. I'm not entirely sure, but I hope that's fine, and I really do hope that happens, because obviously when the Knicks are good and the Lakers are doing good and the big time teams are doing good, it's good for everyone. Everyone makes money, everyone gets more eyes on them. It's just better for everyone when the big time teams are the best. So I hope that does happen. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Make sure to give the video a like if you want to see a pack opening tomorrow. I'll be down to do it. I think that'll be a lot of fun. And yeah, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're being safe. I hope you're being smart. And I'll see you guys again in my next video. very, 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 very soon, right, guys?